Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. Hey, Grandma. Hey, Kelsey.
Hello.
Hey, Kayden. How are you?
I'm doing good. You?
Good.
Oh, goodness.
Just,
It's the
yeah.
last one of the year.
I know. Oh, crazy.
I
We have
was
like
that was
25 of these.
this kind of made me do my Instagram post earlier of like we started doing this in like March, and I don't think we
I know.
either one of us thought we would be doing this pretty consistently.
Yeah, I'm glad we
Yeah.
have, even though it's been tough to come up with subjects. So,
Thanks,
preface
people.
with this one, if you have any topics you want to learn about in 2023, let us know.
Yeah. But I'm just happy that we stayed on top of it and hopefully got some good
Yes.
information out there to people.
Yeah, definitely. That's we've always said we're here to be a resource for you. So hopefully it's helpful for everyone that listens. Awesome. Well, how was your Christmas?
Christmas was good, kind of laid back.
Nice.
And sorry if there might be a little bit of a delay, but in-laws were supposed to come in on Christmas. Flight got delayed, so they drove down.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh. Ugh.
but they're
Yeah,
here,
there were so many flight cancellations and delays. It's
still
nuts.
good. It's chaos.
Yikes.
It is chaos. But
Yeah.
um, how was yours?
It was good. We had some family sicknesses come on the day of Christmas in the morning, and so we had to kind of switch gears. And we were supposed to have about 7 or 8 people with us, and we ended up having 4. So it was kind of a bummer, but it was good. Like you said, it was pretty chill and laid back, and it was nice.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we have some good information again for people preparing
Yeah,
for 2023. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that um, I've said, regardless of interest rates, um, are making it a goal to buy in 2023. A
yeah,
lot of first-time home buyer age. So hopefully there's some good information here in the 15 minutes that we're on
yeah,
that
definitely.
they can.
Yeah. So, what's the first step you would recommend to anyone who wants to become a homeowner in 2023, whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now?
Yeah, it's talk to one of us. I mean, it's talk to your trusted agent, talk to your trusted lender. Um, there's been so many times where I think people have they think not so much that they think they have everything together, but they're just like, oh well, I want to buy a house now instead of doing the legwork up front to understand where everything
Right.
sits. So the first thing is definitely talk to one of us, and then just get you pointed in the right direction, have a better understanding of where everything sits. I know the biggest one is credit score. Not everyone knows down to the T where their credit score is going to sit, and that can play a
Right.
big factor. So
Yeah, definitely. And I'd agree with you. And one thing I would recommend too is that I would head into these conversations knowing that it might not be like a 2 to 3 month timeline for you. You head into these things knowing like, okay, we might have things to work on, and we're okay if it's a 6 to 12 month timeline. But talking to either a realtor or a lender in advance so that you have an idea of where exactly you sit so that you can put yourself in the best position this year at some point, that's going to be important. And it's important to go in with that mindset so that you're not frustrated or upset or then like turned off or away from buying a home if it is a little bit further out than you originally anticipated.
sorry,
Um,
there's a little
no,
bit of
you're
a
good.
delay.
That's okay.
um, I
Uh,
think I got what you're saying, but yeah, 100%. Not even go in with like the expectation of. I would say go into with the expectation of. Um, this is that first step in purchasing a home, but the timeline could change, but understanding
right.
like not all going to happen quickly. It could if you have everything set up right,
Yeah,
but yeah, having that
definitely. So I would say this.
expectation of
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
when, not if.
Yeah, exactly. And we say that all the time. It's not an if, it's a when.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah. So the second thing that I would recommend doing is just having an idea of like the things that you want, knowing your timeline a little bit. I know we just talked about like it may be a little bit longer or shorter depending on your situation, but like if it potentially is a little bit longer and you know you have a lease ending in, I don't know, March or June or something. Have some preparations for that so that you can have a backup plan if you need. Prep yourself to potentially go month to month if you have to.
Yeah.
No one really knows what the market's going to look like in, 3 to 6 to 10 months from now. And so having just a backup is never going to hurt your situation at all.
No, it's just, yeah, just being prepared for any possible outcome. If it's not
Yeah.
home ownership right now, just going that month to month never hurts. But obviously, it might be a different payment. But if your ultimate goal is owning a home, it's totally worth it.
Absolutely. And then I know you mentioned like credit score as being one of the things that is typically not a hindrance, but can hold people back in their timeline a little bit. The other thing that will help you feel a little bit better about your home buying situation is just starting to save up funds a little bit. So that you go in, it's always kind of a shock to write this large check for your down payment and closing costs. No matter what it is, no matter what the price of home that you're purchasing, it's a big chunk of change up front and it can be a little intimidating. So having as much reserves in your account as possible to make you feel more comfortable is going to help. And both Kayden and I have been in this position multiple times for Kayden. Myself, it's just been once, but like we said, it never hurts to prepare yourself a little more than you anticipate because it's going to help you with your peace of mind. And like at the end of the day, that's what's important to me is making sure that you feel comfortable with every step of the process. And so that's one of the big steps.
100%. And I feel like a lot of people always wonder, hey, how much do I owe down payment, closing costs wise? But then they don't know, like, hey, I need money to own this home. So you always have to account for a certain amount to have just in your account. You don't want to be poor walking into a house and then all of a sudden go, what do I do if something goes wrong? So that's something I always talk about. And then going back to what you said about credit score, to kind of go with that, anything to deal with credit, so credit score and then the debts that you have, I think that's the big one that people don't realize. I've had a lot of people who have maybe higher car payments or whatnot, and they're paying X amount in rent. Well, they're like, I can afford a home. And it's like, well, no, it's a completely different process. And we have to account for those. You may be able to afford it, if you have figured out your budget, but according to guidelines, those car payments might be stopping you from purchasing that home. So just that's where these early conversations we can figure that out of going, hey, if we can change this, or if you can pay down this, and whatnot, the different strategies you can use to put you in a better place.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why having conversations with a lender and a realtor are going to help you. I always recommend talking to a realtor because then they can be there as like your sounding board. Sometimes you hear some information that like isn't what you were wanting to hear, or is like we mentioned at the beginning, like can be a little bit disheartening at first, but it's not a bad thing at all. It's just like all about perspective. And so it's good to have another person on your team who's just there as a sounding board. It can tell you like, this is how it is, and we're here, and we're both here to help you every step of the way to make sure that you're in the right position, in the best position possible. So that's why it's good to have both and get started as early as like 6 to 12 months. But if you're hoping to buy by the end of the year, but you don't think you're in a position, reach out to one of us. And like, we're here to help you. And I think that both of us are pretty good on making sure and maintaining communication for the long term of the relationships that we have with our clients. And so just reach out and we're here to help guide you to your goal.
100%. Yeah. And just the communication's the biggest thing. I mean, us to buyers to making sure everyone, it's a team effort. As much as we're working for you, it is a team effort making sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. What's another thing that you'd recommend?
This was it's just a question I get depending on what situations are, and because you can kind of get into a situation where you're like, hey, I'm trying to save for a down payment, but you're telling me my debts are too high. I can't save and pay off debt. Conversation of what is more urgent? Is it paying down those debts? Because sometimes, I mean, yes, you need a minimum down payment, but sometimes paying down those debts will open up more possibility for you. And another thing, I for the most part, it's easier to find a down payment through assistance or a certain loan program than it is to try and pay down to get someone else to cover. There's only a couple of loan programs that you can get a seller to actually pay off those debts. And it's going to be easier to find down payment assistance from the state than it would be to try and convince a seller to pay off a $20,000 debt or anything to open up the potential for you to purchase a home. So like I said, it always comes down to conversations, but I think trying to minimize that debt as best you can after talking to a lender who can totally look at those numbers and your full outlook.
Yeah, definitely. And then another thing, this one's maybe a little bit like tough, but I would recommend starting to figure out like what are the things that you really, really want in a home and then like need in a home. So kind of creating that list for yourself, and feel free to go look at open houses
Mm-hmm.
if you want, just to get an idea of things that you really are going to want and need. But there is a difference between want and need. And so making sure that you're going into it, the search when the time comes with that idea, and things change over time, like once you start. And that's why going out and seeing houses is important. But a lot of realtors won't take you out to see
Mm-hmm.
homes until you are officially pre-approved, because we don't want to be taking you to homes that ultimately you can't afford and are just going to be, again, like disheartened with the situation. So we do that for your best interest, even though I know it seems a little bit frustrating, but ultimately, like, it is what's best for the clients at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then off of that, because everyone has an idea of kind of what they want to pay for a monthly payment on a house. Oddly enough, I tell people go like start looking at homes. Like if we get them pre-approved and you're pre-approved for this, but you want to pay this, I'm almost like go look at homes to go see what that payment gets you, and then you need
Right.
to go make a decision to go budget, and here's the house that I can get by upping my budget. You have to
Right.
literally put a tangible house to the monthly payment you have to pay. I think a lot of people just sit back and go, I want to pay this, and until I see a house that pops up that hits that exact mark, and then they go look at it and don't like it. It might be wasted time.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing is, like, right now we're in a pretty interesting market where you can make an offer,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of go with it and see. So that house that may be a little bit out of your budget right now might end up being within your budget when you go to make an offer. If they don't accept it, then that's one thing. They may counter, but like, buyers have a lot more power right now, and we don't know how much longer that's going to last. And so utilize it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Just go out there, get out there, see what's going on.
See the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
All the
I,
beautiful homes available.
and there's so many. I wish Kelsey and I always have our like Redfin searches up, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
like she's all about it. Don't because I don't want to get like I don't cause if it's like
Excited.
yeah I don't want to start looking knowing like I'm not going to do anything with that, but it's cool to
Right.
see that, and it's cool to see homes that other people are looking at, and I can go through and say, oh, that's cool about that house, and whatnot. But I have one last thing I wanted to share, and this is for self-employed folks. As we enter the new year, this is going to be a big time of the year between now, I would even say the first 2 months. I would say if you're self-employed and you're potentially looking for a home in 2023, do your taxes early, because depending on if 20, it's actually a strategic thing, because if 2020 wasn't the best year, you could use the past tax returns. We'll have to show some 2022 docs, but if you had a good 2022, get those taxes done so you can use that money towards a pre-approval and getting qualified with your qualifying income. Because I know a lot of people, they do that and they're like, well, I made all this money. I'm like, well, I'm going off your last 2 years.
Right.
If I'm not seeing and you're not reporting this number to the government, and full communication again. So I would say do your taxes early, and then careful of how much you write off. So you're not writing off
Yeah.
too much of your income. You can't qualify for what you want.
Yeah. Definitely. That's good advice.
That was my
So to
rant.
kind of recap, no, appreciate it. Do you have anything else to add?
No, it's just the again. It's like I'm working with someone self-employed. We first started talking in April of last year. Started talking again now, and he understands that he talks to his CPA, he talks to me. I go, hey, here's kind of the numbers we need to show, and then he goes and talks to his CPA, going, hey, I'm trying to buy a home. This is what I need to show. So like everyone's on the same page,
Right.
which I think is super important. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to that when they're doing their taxes, of going, do I want to buy a home? Okay, I got to make sure everyone's on the same page, because if your CPA ends up doing your taxes like you did before and you write everything off and then it somehow can't qualify, that's
Right.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, what you said. Everyone's on your team, the group of people that you choose to work for you. Like, we all just want what's best for you. So figuring out what
Mm-hmm.
your goals are and kind of solidifying them a little bit. Obviously things change as time goes on, but having a basic understanding of what your goals are is going to be important, and then communicating them to the people that you trust to help you get there, because we are all on your team. We want what's best for you, and we want you to reach your goals.
Absolutely. Do you have
Sweet.
anything else on mindset, anything going into 2023?
No, I don't think so. I think mindset and then talking to the people, before you're like officially super ready to move forward is really important, because it can help, be a catalyst to get you on the right path to being a homeowner by the end of the year. So like if it's something that you want, reach out to us and we will help you get there. But you have to want it too. So
That's a big one. I have the holidays, I think, threw a lot of people off, and I can understand that. That can take precedence, and I think like I'm just talking from like my side of things. If I know this stuff if you're worried about the holidays and family, we can push off the home thing. So that's what I'm saying. It's a teamwork thing. It's a communication thing. And everyone can move at the same exact speed, so no one's feeling rushed or they need
yeah,
they to work harder for them.
yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So kind of just to recap what we said, so the biggest things that you should be focusing on are one, reaching out to a lender or a realtor or both, so that you can kind of figure out your financials, things that you need to work on, and then having a positive mindset. Like you may not be told what you want to hear in those conversations, but knowing that like take what they said and run with
Mm-hmm.
it and do what they're telling you to do, because it is going to help you be on the right trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset was a big one, just having a positive mindset about the situation. If being a homeowner is what you want, then you will get it. We will help you get there, but you have
Yeah.
to want it as well. And then creating that list, going out to open houses, seeing homes, and being super casual about it, but also giving you the idea of like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I don't want. That'll help you in the long run. And then what was that last one that you said? I'm blanking for now. Oh,
On
just communicating.
Yes. Yeah.
Communicating with all the people that you've chosen to work with you and for you to get to your goal, so that we can all help you achieve that goal. So those are the big things that we would recommend if you want to be a homeowner by the end of 2023.
Yes.
And another goal
it. I
for
have
you
nothing more
guys
to say.
is to help us with topics.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want to learn about, please reach out to us. We definitely need more topics as we head into the new year. And so, yeah, please help us.
Please. But thank you for everyone who hopped
Yeah.
on. Hopefully, like I said, this gives you a little bit more info. Maybe someone can take this and have it in the back of their head for when the time is right to purchase a home. But that's what we're here for, just trying to get the info out to people in a different format.
Definitely. Awesome. So happy New Year's to everybody. We will probably be back next week. And it'll be our first one of the year. Very exciting. And yeah, thanks again to everybody. We'll give you another like 30 seconds and I'll just ramble to see if anyone has any questions or wants to chat about anything additional. Yeah. Any New Year's plans for you, Kayden?
I think we're going out to dinner Saturday night. As for New Year's, I think low key, sit back, watch some football, and just prep for getting back into the swing of things next week.
Nice.
As all the holiday stuff is behind us.
Very exciting.
Yeah.